Here's one of the ones that I initially didn't feel good about, but as we got closer and closer to the end of the week, I began to feel better about it. 49ers at the Packers. The line has been moving farther and farther in Green Bay's direction. -6 now.
Wow.
The Packers are at home, Lambeau Field. Biggest spread of the week, over under 47. Let's start with 49ers offense, Green Bay's defense. And Green Bay may be getting some guys back like Zadarius Smith, Whitney Merciless, Jair Alexander would be huge. What do you see when it comes to the matchup of Kyle Shanahan's offense and Joe Barry's defense?
I mean, again, I like Joe Barry. I certainly do. I think he's done a really good job with their defense. But I mean, I think this is a tough offense for them to defend. This is a different team, different offense than earlier in the year when the first matchup and the Packers won the football game. You know, there was no Elijah Mitchell in that game. There was no aspect of Deebo Samuel playing tailback in that game either. You know, and the Packers, they jumped out on them early and hung on and made some, unbelievable plays at the end of to win the football game. But I have a hard time thinking this Packers team's going to be able to stop the 49ers offense consistently. This is my issue with the Packers. We saw it kind of down the stretch of the season. They play a team that's got a big physical offensive line and they can run the ball. You can move these guys. Kenny Clark's good. He's real good. The rest of the guys that put their hand in the ground, they're good. They're good players. There's nothing special. I don't look at it and go, "Oh wow, that's a dominant group up there." It's a reason they've fallen short the last 2 years. Like we've talked about. The Bucks controlled that defensive line last year. The 49ers are still running on that defensive line from the year before in the NFC Championship game. And I just think that is a clear advantage to me for the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the one thing I look at, and like your health thing there and all of that, hey, you get Zadarius back. More importantly to me, you get Jair Alexander back, and that maybe gives you a little wiggle room to take more chances or add more guys into the run game to slow it down. Because now you can have snaps where you go, all right, I'm cool with Stokes playing Ayuk man-to-man. I'm cool with Jair man-to-man on Deebo here. We'll roll the dice. Let's see if we can stop this crazy Shanahan run game with the rest of these guys. That is definitely a big key or a help-out factor for the Packers, the fact that Jair Alexander can go and play in this football game. But ultimately, I worry about, again, that front seven of the Packers. Middle linebackers, not real big, not thumping linebackers, not great at stopping the run. They're going to be probably over-aggressive. What scares me about that is you get over-aggressive in the middle, you know what happens. It's Deebo Samuel, rocket up his ass, flying across off a play-action pass. And they hit him, and it's like, oh, gosh, are they going to be able to tackle him before he runs in for the touchdown? So I do give the advantage to the 49ers here in this part of the matchup. What about you?
Well, and we know how fired up and physical that offense can get if your guys are healthy.
Ooh, yeah.
Kittle and Deebo. If they're healthy, they're motivated, they're driven, they're roughnecks, they roll out of bed and punch you in the face. And that's the attitude they need to bring to the table to set the tone early. Now, my only concern, obviously, is the quarterback position.
Yeah, right. I didn't even hit
Jimmy
on
Garoppolo,
that. Go, yeah, go.
He's got the lingering thumb problem.
Right.
He's got the shoulder problem now, which happened from the Cowboys game. Look, it was 23-7. Brandon Ayuk's open. Jimmy Garoppolo misses him. Then it's 23-10. And he sails the ball over a receiver's head. It's intercepted by the Cowboys, yada, 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 23-17. And they got to sweat and pray and hope that they don't ultimately blow it. And it was another Garoppolo mistake. There were two mistakes. One helped them, one hurt them. One that helped them was the low pass to George Kittle on the play that resulted in the fumble that the Cowboys recovered.
Right.
Thank God Jimmy Garoppolo misfired a screen pass. And then there was Garoppolo rushing the 4th and inches before Trent Williams could get set, pushing back the 49ers and forcing them to punt late. So Garoppolo is the weak link. And if I'm a 49ers fan, I just accept the fact that at some point that guy is going to up the season. Sorry, Kristen, but that's what he's going to do. At some point, whether it's this game, whether it's the next game or whether it's the Super Bowl. He's going to do something to cause the whole thing to implode, and I just as soon get it over with if I'm the 49ers, and I feel like that's what they can count on, unless he's injured, and then it's Trey Lance being thrown to the wolves, and the only good thing there is he played college football at North Dakota State, so maybe he won't be affected by the cold if it is cold, and it should be cold at Lambeau Field. But the quarterback position to me, I mean, we talked during PFT Live today about the coaching matchups. Well, Jimmy Garoppolo, Aaron Rodgers. I mean, there isn't a Sharpie big enough to make the check that goes on the side of the Packers ledger on that one.
No doubt. Listen, I think if they have a better quarterback, I'm picking the 49ers in this game, no doubt about it. There's no doubt. You said it right. I mean, it's first off, it's rare.
And why is it controversial to say that Jimmy Garoppolo isn't good enough?
I don't know either.
Have we not seen it?
Well,
Have we not seen it?
It's just people who are
you hate Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
No, I like good quarterback play, and I'll point out when we don't get good quarterback play. And why are we acting like this guy's a great quarterback when he's clearly not? The evidence has been in front of our eyes between the inability to stay healthy.
Right.
The failure to hit Emmanuel Sanders with a championship on the line. The fact that he freaked out Kyle Shanahan in the divisional round in 2019 with what should have been 3 interceptions, all by Eric Kendricks, and they turned him into Bob Greasy for the rest of that game and all of the next game. He barely threw the ball in the NFC Championship. Are you kidding me? Well, he could have been the Super Bowl MVP. Yeah, well, it's his fault that he wasn't. So I get exhausted by the 49ers fans who are so
not
obsessed
realistic
with propping this guy up.
I get you. I mean, listen, their own team doesn't think he is.
It's
exactly.
Gianon.
His own team doesn't think he's their own organization. They are replacing him, and it is insane. I think what what it goes into is a little bit like we've talked about a lot over the years. People just see wins and they go, "Well, it's got to be the quarterback. It's got to be the quarterback. That's why they win. That's why." No, it's not. They have a really good football team. They win in spite of their quarterback. They win. They have a quarterback that's top 20-ish in football. Nowhere near the top 10. You want to put him somewhere between 14 and 22? Sure, I think reasonable minds can differ there. But that's about where he is. Period. It's in that range. I mean, and how many?
Say one more thing.
Well, yeah, hold on. Let me just finish this.
Okay, go ahead.
How many times do we got to see him screw the game up, like you said? I mean, what are you talking about? Last week, the Rams game that they won in Week 18, he threw 2 interceptions early on in the game. The Titans game.
But he had a great drive.
I know.
Check drive.
Right. The Titans game. They kicked the shit out of the Titans. He looked really good until he didn't. And then, oh, shit. So, people are delusional. The Seahawks loss, right? This is a team that's won 8 out of the last 10. But you look at the losses or the questionable moments, and they all go back to that guy. So I'm with you there. Go ahead. Say your thing.
Let me just say one thing, and this pains me to say, but this will tell you that there's no bias here. This is truth-telling by me. If Kyle hadn't allowed himself to be talked into Jimmy Garoppolo and had waited for Kirk Cousins like he had wanted to do, they would have 2 more Super Bowl rings already in San Francisco.
They'd have 1.
Already.
I'll agree with you there.
They would have 2 more.
Yeah. I would agree.
And it pains me to say that Kirk Cousins would have 1 Super Bowl ring.
Yeah.
I think they would have 2.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Maybe they'd be getting their second one this year.
Yeah, maybe that's the way to look at it. Exactly right. Exactly right. I think that's fair and that's reasonable. Now you get to the other side. Oh, Aaron Rodgers. This is the quarterback with the most pressure on him this weekend. No doubt about it. This is legacy defining, and he's got a damn team from his hometown that's coming, and they're going to try to whoop his ass. It's a scary matchup for them as far as the Packers offense. But, I do think they figured some things out in the first game, and I think they realize, and we talked about this a little earlier today, the 49ers play some looks that I just look at teams and go, how do you let them get away with playing this defense? And more times than not, it's because the egos of these coaches, wait, all week I had this guy going there and this guy, I want you to play that. And I'll go back to something that anybody that listens to my podcast that I talk about all the time. It's a lost art in football. It's a lost art, And Troy Aikman alluded to it yesterday, right? You saw the quote, Mike. I read it on PFT. Of course you saw the quote. He talked about, man, the 49ers, he said the Cowboys should have thrown the ball to CeeDee Lamb more. He had a lot of great looks during the game. I pointed some out on my Wednesday What the Happened podcast yesterday, where you just go, What? You throw the ball. Your guy's better than no-name number 20 running DB out here. Just play Michael Irvin versus this guy's better. And see, Rodgers and company will do that. And that's where it's going to pose some problems for the 49ers defense, which I think is an exceptional defense. But that's their weakness. And they'll give you some opportunities to throw 10 yards out, 20-yard out, 15-yard comebacks on the outside and play a zone defense, which plays like man-to-man. And that's where I look at it to go, they got a little advantage there. Can they protect Rodgers? I'm not sure. Can they run the ball against this 49ers defense? I'm not sure. The one thing I'm sure about is they can throw the ball outside against these guys, and Rodgers can dice them up. Will they be willing to do it and go back to the well enough times to do it? That's a big question for me in this one.
All right, so here we are. The time to make the picks. I get the impression we're both picking the Packers. The question is, who wins on the spread prediction? I've gone back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I've settled in Green Bay 27-20, meaning Green Bay wins, Green Bay covers. But I could also see it being 23-20 late. Maybe Aaron Rodgers gets Matt LaFleur to pass on the field goal and go for it on fourth down and go for the win. You know, a sore point from last year against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I think that it won't even be at that level. I think, like you said, Aaron Rodgers, keenly aware of his legacy. This whole season is wasted if they don't take care of business against the 49ers. They know all too well what has happened to them in the past when they've had to play out there. But I think there's a difference. That's why home field advantage matters, even when the full season numbers are out of whack and it looks like it doesn't. For a game like this, it does. Playing at Lambeau Field, advantage Packers. Packers win 27-20.
So you think my conversation led you to believe that I'm picking the Packers?
I thought that, yes. Were you trying to do that on purpose?
No, I was just talking. I really was.
I just don't know who you're going to pick to cover. I don't know who you're going to pick to cover.
I'm picking the 49ers to win the game. I'm going to pick the 49ers to win the game. I am. Wow. I know. Wow. I know. I said some strong negative things there, because I tried to be fair to both the matchup. And I know I said some negative things about Jimmy G. I said, damn, Aaron Rodgers can do this and throw these looks outside. I still am going to go with the 49ers. I do. I just look at it, and I just think they're a physically better football team. And the Packers, maybe they win the game. It's a tough one for me. I really go, and this is where in the first matchup things changed, Mike. Rodgers and company early on got those looks I talked about, and he threw the ball outside, and they did a lot of good things. The 49ers then shifted to protecting their corners and not letting him do that. The Packers' run game got going after that, and they ran the ball pretty well in the second half, but it didn't necessarily lead to a lot of points. I think the 49ers are going to protect these corners, and I think they're going to go, you know what, we can't stop everything. We're just going to trust our front seven to stop the run here today because we're not going to let Adams and NVS run by us or Lazard and do all that. I'm picking the 49ers on the road, 30-24. Packers are real good. I know that. I think this is one of the more horrible matchups they could be facing in this divisional round in all of football.
And you know what? I would feel differently about it possibly if it were for a berth in the Super Bowl. But divisional round, I think the Packers.
The extra week off.
That I ended up feeling good about. Yeah. I feel good about this one.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.